Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me, Lisa Lamont, for another exciting edition of Ladies, Get Your Prance On. And I am so excited to have my guest today. She actually was born in San Diego, then she moved to Oregon, and then she ended up in Washington State when she was just a young girl. And she had a sister, and yet they were kind of quite opposites. She was more the outgoing, the more extroverted, and her and her sister, they balance one another out. And one of the interesting things that I learned about Jessica Butts was that we have something in common. We're both extroverts, but she also had plays in the neighborhood. She would have plays in her backyard. And so I was like, I'm so excited about that. And she grew up with parents that were kind of hippies. And her father, those of you who are Seahawk fans, her father was a writer for the Seahawks for 37 years. So Jessica, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you. So let's just go ahead and begin for people who don't know you. Instead of me reading your biography, can you share with the viewers of who you are and what it is that you do? What's your day job?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I wear a lot of different hats, I feel like. And so what I really am calling myself is a retired psychotherapist, kind of turned life and business coach. So I left corporate America. I worked in corporate human resources for 15 years. And it was just life sucking. It was just not my passion, not what I wanted to be doing in this world, not how God designed me. And I finally got out of it, went back to graduate school and started a therapy practice. And I loved it, but I also am incredibly entrepreneurial, as are you. And so we are very think outside the box kinds of people. And the blessing was my business was full. It got full very, very fast. I built my practice. I was loving the work, but I kind of turned into a martyr in that I didn't have any free time. I was booked all the time. I was working until 7 o'clock at night. I was seeing 10 clients a day, like 4 days a week. It was a little bit overwhelming. And again, I had gotten myself into another day job instead of this entrepreneurial lifestyle that I really wanted to lead. And so I started realizing there was a lot of gifted artists out there, whatever your art, whether it be readings or angels, or you're a writer, or you literally do art, or you're a therapist or a massage therapist or whatever, and they don't really know how to run their business, or they're starting businesses that are not innate to who they are. And so I've really kind of put my therapy practice to the side. Again, I'm calling myself kind of a former or retired psychotherapist. And now I'm really doing business coaching and speaking. And I wrote this book that's up here. And then the foundation of all of that is that I'm a Myers-Briggs expert, and I have been for about 22 years. And I'm pretty obsessed with it. And it has become my life's passion to really help people understand their type, understand their innateness, so that they can start designing their life, their business, their intimate relationships, all of their relationships really around who they are. So that's what I'm doing.
I love that you brought up your book, because I was going to bring up your book, but since you brought it up, let's go ahead and jump into your book for a few moments, if you are willing to.
Of course.
I love your book because I knew about Myers-Briggs, but I'm kind of like an ADD personality. I read something and I'm just like, it gets boring. I mean, I'm fascinated by it, but yet at the same time, it was kind of boring. And so you took Myers-Briggs and you made it fun, and you made it sassy, and you made it alive. And so the people who may not have read your book, which after this show, you're going to want to get this book, but can you share with the idea behind the book?
Yeah, great question. And thank you for all the lovely compliments. And so that's exactly why I did it. There was a problem out there, is that Myers-Briggs really is the best tool to figure out who we innately are, meaning we are born into this world with our personality type. And so with that in mind, there's so many people out there who don't get it. It is a little bit dry. It's a little bit clinical. And that's not who I am. I'm an artist. I'm a think outside the box kind of person. I'm an intuitive type. And so we don't really like that stuff. I don't really give a crap about facts and figures and blah, blah, blah. And so I really wanted to make it accessible for the layman people, including me. I call it like one of my gifts in this world, and we all have gifts, is I like to take complex data and really dumb it down, if you will, because that's what I like. I want to be able to just pick up a book, get right down to the point. Don't use so many gosh darn words, like just get it out so that we get it and understand it. And so that was one of my, really the biggest reason behind my book, is that I was kind of sitting in my therapy practice every day and sharing this one-on-one. And while I love doing that, I thought I repeat the same thing a lot to a lot of different people. And it's really changing their lives. Yeah. And so I thought, I really need to probably get this out to the masses. And so I was conducting a workshop, and I thought, I've got to have a different way to explain this to people so that they get it and use it. Because that's the biggest problem, is that people, they don't use their Myers-Briggs once they learn it. And so I'll be really honest with you, Lisa, I don't even know where it came from, whether it be a gift from God or the universe was helping me out that day. I just came up with this car analogy, and it just kind of grew from there. And one of my good friends, who's also a Myers-Briggs expert, was in the audience that day at my workshop. And I get done and she just goes, "What the hell was that? That was awesome." And I go, "Oh, good. I just kind of came up with it." And she was like, "Jessica, that is like brilliant. You need to do something with that." And as life would have it, it takes a few years to kind of get that done. But that's really the reason for the birth of the book, is to understand 3 fundamental questions. Who are you? Which is absolutely your personality type. Again, Myers-Briggs is an 8. We are born with our type. Life circumstances get in the way, and all the shoulds and the, you should do this, Lisa, and you should do this. And we just don't live by those rules. And so it's about understanding who we really are, because I think you and everyone listening would agree, the life is just easier when you do things that you were naturally designed to do. And that's your personality type. And so once we learn that, whether we're 18 or we're, 58, we have to learn this so that we can then start designing our life. So the very first question in the book and my upcoming workshop is, who are you? And then it's, where are you going to go? So many people just stay stuck. They live in this survival mode. It's so sad to me. Like, we get one life on this earth and we have to live it fully. It's our responsibility to do that. Yeah. So if you're going to just get up, brush your teeth, go to work every day, come home, watch TV and go to bed and rinse and repeat, I'm not your person. We're not going to get along, because I want people who want to thrive in their life. They want more and they're excited about it. And that is the, where are you going? It's really a missing link. It's mindset, law of attraction, all of those little things that we can do to tweak our own mindset about our visions and where we're going to go, and literally tricking and molding our mind to get us what we want. And then the last piece, of course, is how are you going to get there? And that is taking action. I am an action person. I am not about just giving people information and being like, okay, well, see ya, bye, good luck to you. Yeah. It's now that you know this stuff, what are you going to do with it? And so the last piece of the book and the last piece of the workshop is about taking some action. And I think that's partially why I stopped not quite fitting into the therapy world anymore either, is I like to, now that I know this, like I want to help you, and I want you to take some charge of your life.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I loved when I met you, Jessica, in person, was when I learned that you were a therapist. Yeah. That you use the words, the law of attraction. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
A spiritual side to a therapist?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? And I can see why you broke that mold, because I can't even imagine being stuck in those confines of not allowing our spirituality to come through. And so you mentioned your workshop. So can you, because for those of you, I am going to this workshop because I've read her book. And if you haven't read her book, we'll talk about her book here in just a little bit. But because you brought up your workshop, let's jump right in and share this amazing workshop you have coming up.
Yeah, it really is going to be amazing. So as an extrovert, one of the places that I shine is really coaching and speaking and presenting things in person. And so it's literally taking the contents of my book and teaching it in person. So there's something about building energy. There's something about being around it. There's something about when somebody says something to you that touches you, that moves you to do something. And so I do workshops kind of all over the country. People hire me to go places, but I keep getting this like, well, how can we work with you? When can we come in? And so while I have a small group that I work with, this is the first ever open 2-day event that I'm doing. And it's coming up in 3 weeks. It's October 7th and 8th, right here in the Seattle area. And I'm sure here, Lisa, somewhere people can find out. But you can actually just go to my website, which is simply jessicabutts.com, to find out more information. But it is guaranteed. I mean, if you don't like me right now, you're going to probably hate the event. Let me just say it's just like this. It's me truth telling. It's going to be an entire day of who are you, really diving deep into your personality type all day on Friday. There's this unbelievable expert panel that's going to be sharing just brilliance with you. And then Saturday is going to be the mindset stuff. So for those of you who don't even know what we're talking about, this is going to blow your mind, and that alone would change your life. And then we'll end it with taking some action. And so it's truly going to be phenomenal. I think it's a really, really, really reasonable price point. You can bring a guest for $97. The hotel is darling and so quaint and adorable. And there's going to be people like Lisa Lamont there. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, the price of admission just to be networking with some of the badass chicks that are going to be there is worth it in and of itself. I mean, it's going to be like a Prancing Kittens reunion, e-women, and all kinds of amazing women. So it would be one of those events that if I saw it and I wasn't there, I'd be like, what? I'm so missing out. So educational for sure, content rich. That's the other thing about me. I do not believe in giving fluff. Like, I'm not going to just sit around and try to sell you on something. It is content rich. So it's going to be a pretty epic and life-changing couple of days.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, and so I do want to go to learn because I love your book, and so I want to go deeper on the book. Right. But I'm also going because you have this amazing, the people that have signed up so far. I mean, they are people that I've met online and I haven't met yet in person. Some I've met in person. But you've got this wonderful tribe that's going to be going. So, I mean, it's so much more than just going and listening to you up there talking. It's very interactive because I know your personality and who you are and where you've been. And so I would like to throw this out there for the people watching, because people watch us from all over the country. Yeah. And if you want this opportunity to change your life, it's a 2-day event. You can fly in. I mean,
there's people from all over the country coming.
This is absolutely something that you're going to want to come and be a part of. And I will have the link to your event attached to the show, so they'll be able to find it. So can we talk a little bit about your book? Like, who you have, the drunk uncle and the crying baby. So can you just kind of give a brief synopsis of the characters that you talk about in your book?
Yeah, definitely. So Myers-Briggs has 4 dichotomies, which I don't think we'll have time to get into today, but that's introversion, extroversion, sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling, judging, perceiving. Those in and of themselves, one at a time, are utterly fascinating and can really change your perspective on not only yourself, but every single relationship in your entire life. Again, just one of those. I mean, when I work with people and they have the clarity on that, it's like a game changer. But then once you figure out your whole letter type, which means there's 4 letters. So I believe you're an ENFP and I'm an
ENFJ.
Oh, good. Me too. Me too. So I'm going to use that one as an example. How about we do that?
There we go.
So ENFJs, once you figure out the 4-letter whole type, that is what you are called. We are called the giver. And so we give a lot to other people, hence what I do for a living, hence what you do for a living. We give a lot to other people. And so there are 4 passengers in a car that I have taken from Myers-Briggs work. He calls it your I don't even know, like your inferior self, your auxiliary, your tertiary, like nobody knows what that means. I mean, I even remember reading it and just being like, what? Come on, just use some language we get. And so the 4 people in the car are parts of our personality. All of them are parts of our personality. There's the driver and the co-pilot in the front seat. And for you and I and any other ENFJ listening, our best self, our driver of our car, is an extroverted feeler, meaning when we are giving to others, when we are connecting human to human, when we are building relationships, forming bonds, that is our best self. It is like the, we feel amazing. People are attracted to us when we are authentic. Our lives are better. We make more money. Our businesses run. Our relationships are better. Everything is in flow when we are in our front seat. And so for introverts, that's very different. For them, it's much more about being retreated and being by themselves and needing to regain their energy by being by themselves. And the population differential is 50-50. So 50% are extroverts and 50% are introverts. And so much of the work that I do is there's no judgment allowed. It's about putting your own oxygen mask on first so that you can then go out and really understand other people so that you can start having better interactions. But back to the car. So again, our driver is that extroverted relationship builder, if you will. It's called an extroverted feeler. And so in my book, and obviously at the workshop, I literally outline, every single car. You can like see the cars. It's all outlined. I mean, again, I don't make things complicated. I just make it as simple as humanly possible. And so our co-pilot, also in our front seat, live your life from the front seat, our best self for us, you and I, is in our head, introverted intuition, ideas. Where are we going? What's next? Where can we go? What can we plan? Where can we take our business? On and on and on and on and on and on. It's always spinning. It's always idea generating. So if we, Lisa, and any other intuitive that's listening right now, if you are not being creative, you're going to die. Your soul will die. We have to have creativity in our life. When I learned that, it changed my life. I grew up in a very sensing family. My mother is a sensor, which is the opposite of an intuitive type. My sister is a sensor. And it was all about living day to day. They are the 9-to-5 people. And when I wanted to do plays in the background or in the backyard, and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to build this business, and I wanted to leave corporate America, always the question is, why? You have a perfectly fine job. Why? And the answer now I know is because I will literally die if I don't do these things. We have to be creating and learning all the time. So again, there is no judgment in type. It's simply learning who you are so that you can stop pathologizing yourself, thinking there's something wrong with me. Because I grew up pretty much for 35 years of my life thinking there was something wrong with me. And then when I finally just started to embrace it, everything changed. Everything. I left my marriage. I left corporate America. I just said, basically, screw it to everything. I got to go start living authentically. And then the universe rewards. Everything has changed. And I see that in other people when they start living their life according to their innateness. So our backseat, whoo.
Do we have to go there?
Yeah, you asked. So everybody has dreaded backseat drivers. And so for ENFJs, or really any NF, the backseat people, I have named affectionately two kind of funny names. And they're not They're funny names, but they're actually not very funny because it's very serious. Because this is where I spent a lot of my life, and this is where most of my clients come to me, is when they're spending time in their back seat. So what I want people to be doing is spending at least 80% of their time in their front seat, meaning doing things you're innately good at. And you will be amazed. Your life will change, guaranteed. If you have the courage to do this, your life will change. Because our backseat are the shoulds. Our backseat are the things that we are not good at. So the first passenger in the backseat is called the drunk uncle. And our drunk uncle, I named him that because I didn't want us to pretend like we were drunk, but we all know what it's like to be drunk, or we have that drunk uncle in our family, and they just have bad energy. They're just, you'd rather them just take a drink, shut up, pass out, and go to sleep because you are so annoying. I don't want anything to do with you. Just shh, go away. That is the part of our personality that is like a drunk person doing it. Drunks are messy, sloppy, inebriated, intoxicated. They're just a mess. I don't want any part of my life being run by a drunk person, because we don't make our best decisions. We don't say the best things. We don't do anything the best except have fun when we're drunk. It's not good. It's not good. And so that is the part of our personality. And for you and I, in any sensor, these are details. It's minutia, spell checking, just all the minutia of life that 75% of the population are awesome at.
75%? Wow.
75% of the population are sensors, and only 25% are big picture intuitive types.
Okay.
And so, I mean, if we're going to talk about my why, like that's why I got into this, is because I'm one of the weirdos. You're a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. We are different because we're only 25% of the population, and the world was not designed for us.
No.
Schooling, 9-to-5 jobs, all that stuff is literally designed by and for sensors. We do not fit into that. Yeah. We are the think outside the box. We are the artists. We are the entrepreneurs. And so when it comes to the details of life, we suck at them.
Yeah.
One of my slogans in my book is, don't do stuff you suck at. Just stop. Like if I want anybody to get anything out of anything I say, is stop doing stuff you suck at. If you don't know what it is, I will literally outline it in my book for you, because everybody has something that they suck at, and we must stop doing it.
Yeah.
So then what happens is when people are spending time, anytime. I used to have a job like this. I was in a marriage like this, and I spent probably the opposite. I probably spent 80% of my time doing these drunk uncle activities. And then what happens to us is everybody else in the car goes to sleep, and our baby in the backseat wakes up. And babies are immature, underdeveloped. They literally have no verbal communication skills. They're kind of a hot mess.
Yep.
And so when we are spending too much time in our drunk uncle, think of it like you're just, those times when you're just so stressed out. You're just like, I'm at my wit's end. I cannot do this anymore. Blah! Or someone hurts you, or one of those kinds of things happen to you. Basically, it's your reptilian brain.
Yeah.
And our reptilian brain wakes up, which is our baby. And extroverts, you and I, when this happens, we hide. We get super introverted. We retreat from the world, but not in a good way, in a real baby kind of way.
Yes.
We don't engage normally. We hide. We can't communicate effectively. It's real sad. Real sad.
I get depressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's scary. And it's the exact opposite of your driver. So how we are right now, I mean, people probably can't even imagine us, but we're like, hidden and retreated, and we don't want to talk. And, it's the worst energy.
Yeah.
And so when we get in our heads, everybody does something different, but for ENFJs, we get in our head and we think and 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 think. But like a baby would do it. in a bad way. There's no logic. There's no reasoning. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
So if your front seat, if your driver is introverted, so all the introverts that are listening, when your baby wakes up, she gets loud and she gets mean and they come after you and they're bossy and they're telling people what to do. And again, it's the exact opposite of a fairly, not that all introverts are quiet, but they have a quieter demeanor typically because they're processing information inside. But then when their baby wakes up, they are screaming and yelling and pointing fingers and blah, 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 blah. And it is gross.
Yeah.
It's like a baby waking up, that you just go, oh, that's like when an introvert and their baby wakes up. I have a good friend that's like this. And when it happens, I can see it. And he is mean. I mean, but now I know. And so I don't point fingers at him and be mad at him. I know that something's hurt him or he's stressed out. And so I can say, oh, hon, your baby in the backseat's up. And so instead, it gives us language and a framework to not only deal with ourselves, but to deal with other people. Because I bet, Lisa, you can feel your baby starting to wake up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so the more we know, the more we can start to identify it, we can start to recognize it. I know it because I start to plan days to do nothing. Like all I want to do is stay in bed and eat pizza and binge watch Netflix. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like, that's not my normal way of being. But if I feel like I need to do that, it means things in my life are getting out of control. I'm not in my front seat as much as I need to be. And so that's kind of what the book is about. That's the theory behind it. But, obviously when I work with people in workshops or the book, you get to know your own type. We're really just talking about one type, us ENFJs, versus the other 15 types and how different we all are in this world.
And what I love about your book too, and the reason why I refer to it often is that there are people in my life that it helps me when I identify, like in my mind, I know myself, and when I know someone's an introvert, when I see those signals coming on, I know now not to take it personally, because we take things personally. When somebody says something to us, they might be in a bad mood or they might be going through something. And once again, it's just like, why do we take things personally? And I don't know if that's an extroverted, intuitive. I don't know if that is, but it's been something I've been working. I'm 58 years old, and this book has been a game changer for me. This is like in my top 5 books of all time.
My gosh, Lisa, thank you.
All
That's
time.
Such an honor. That's such an honor.
Well, and people, I want to kind of jump in personally. I saw Jessica for the first time in person. I think it was at the campfire. Yeah. And she had just released her book, and I couldn't wait. I had to order it. I had to download the ebook because I couldn't wait. And so she was there at the thing, and I went up. I hugged her. I took my picture, selfie with the picture. That's the extrovert, right?
Yeah.
And then I sold probably a couple dozen copies that day. She only brought one book. She only brought one book with her. And I'm like, what? You didn't bring a case of books? And she's like, no. But you should have. That was your lesson. But I mean, it has been a game changer for me. And I tell people, I even tell my clients, Jessica, that come to me for readings and get insight or using my services of hypnosis, part of the things of removing blocks is to understand how our minds operate and how to work with those drunk uncles, those crying babies, and how to stay in the front seat. So I am so delighted to have you here today to go into such depth of your book and of your workshop. So again, highlight a little bit about your workshop that's coming up. Give a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's basically this on steroids. I mean, this is only a short, conversation, but it's basically going to be 2 days of this. It's this energy. It's me talking about this. It's a lot of me, to be totally honest. I mean, I'm definitely going to have, an expert panel, but it's going over the book. It's really talking about that. And so if you want to get enrolled, if you want to know more, actually next Friday, I'm going to have a Q&A phone call. So if there's anybody who's kind of on the fence and they want to ask some questions, or if you're on my list currently, which you can just do on jessicabutts.com, I have a brilliant Q&A questionnaire coming out Friday that will be automatically sent to you to answer any questions about the event. I'll just be honest, it's like one of those, I made it a price point that I hope it's a no-brainer. You know, it's a Friday and Saturday. For those that have day jobs, you only have to take a day off. It's October 7th and 8th. We're going to have a cocktail reception because I like to, you know, it's really going to be my only chance to hug and connect and really be with people before I'm kind of on stage. But the people are going to be brilliant. The content is going to be brilliant. It's organized, down to perfection. It's at a great place. I'm just going to, you know, it's hard to toot your own horn, but it's seriously going to be a game changer. So as you're saying, this book was a game changer. Imagine it in person. I mean, 2 days of talking about this stuff. And it's so much deeper when obviously the author is talking to you about that. And so my hope is to have some of the best people in the world, in the country. There's a couple of people coming from Canada, so I get to kind of say the world, in the room, so that not only is it personally and professionally transformative, but it's also amazing connections with some of these ridiculously fabulous women that I have the honor of coaching. And so my tribe will be there, plus, you know, probably 100 or so more. So it's going to be really fantastic.
Well, and you've handpicked the panel, this expert panel that's going to be there too. So we're not going to give any way. They got to come, and they've got to come and see and meet. But, you know, for those of you who are considering this, you can reach out to me too, and I will talk to you, because I love I love you, Jessica. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to have you on my show and to just talk about this book that everyone must have it. You can find it on Amazon. Yep. What's the title of the book again?
Live Your Life from the Front Seat. So it's on Amazon. Obviously, I'll have copies that I will gladly sign for you at the event as well. So either one.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you, Jessica, for joining me today. Thank you everybody else for joining me. We will be back next Monday. So in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.